society. And then of course you have to promise, I mean, that's the way at least I start thinking about not writing only academic papers, but also kind of newspapers, in magazines, and so on, just to get people aware of what they're doing. So this is also a way for you, I mean, I think it's a moment for you to reflect about, if you're not doing it already, of course, but how can I explain my things to somebody who is not really a scientist? Do you know the expression, who knows the expression ivory tower? Do you know what is an ivory tower, right? So the princess in the ivory tower doesn't communicate with the rest of the world. An ivory tower are universities, where we are sitting there doing our work, no one can see what we're doing, and we don't care about the rest of the world. So, and there's been lots of debates about bringing people down to the ivory tower and actually connecting with the people. I mean, I was talking to a taxi driver in Dublin, and I said, "What do you do?" I said, "I'm a scientist." "Oh, that's a great job. That's a great job. You do nothing and you get paid." And I said, "Wow." Yeah, but then the challenge was how to explain to somebody who has no higher education, or what do you do? Have you tried to do this? Because the thing is that the post-Soviet legacy is that people are, in average, very, very educated, because university was a very prestigious thing to do. But think of countries where university is not the priority. I mean, you can differentiation of the market, and after you finish school, you just go somewhere else. And you hear that there are those people in those places, and those people are just doing nothing because they teach 4 hours a week, 8 hours a week, whatever, 8 hours of work. Of course, I work 60 hours, and those people work 8 hours, and they do not see the other side of the coin. But then it's also our job to show them the other side of the coin. So I took the challenge, and instead of saying just shut up, you don't understand, I told them, okay, I tried to explain why my work is useful. And it's even more complicated because I'm a social scientist. I'm not doing smartphones, I'm not saving lives. Not directly. So it's like, okay, what do you do if I can explain, but I mean, you need intelligence to explain why you need to work in Georgia and do those things. If somebody wants to invest in Georgia, they need to have intelligence to understand the market, to understand the political situation, the social situation, and so on. That was a challenge. So I think that's a moment also for Georgians to stop and reflect, how can we sell our research to the public, to explain that we are not just there doing our experiments and burning in the kitchen, but also doing something useful for the society, not directly.
Did you convince the taxi driver?
Well, it didn't say anymore that it was bollocks, so yes, I would guess yes. But of course, in the back of his mind, he was still thinking, well. But anyway, I mean, our goal is to try.
Actually, Georgian truck taxi drivers also has 3 diplomas. So.
Yeah, the thing is that what I was saying. I mean,
at least.
here is the place where I feel I can say to people, I'm going to a taxi driver, I'm going to a conference, and I know they will understand what I mean. No, that was it. There's the legacy of the kind of many years of education and so on. A friend of mine who works for the National Contact Point says the European Union is striving to do things, to make things simpler, but doesn't make things simple. Which means sometimes I have to say that the best websites, the best understanding of a EU program, for me, comes not from an official EU website, but from other websites. In that case, I think that the Erasmus program is very well explained by the UK Erasmus National Agency. Actually, it's much better, it's much more direct, much more user-friendly than the ones coming from the European Commission. And also in this case, I've taken the British one, which is a bit ironical because soon there will be no British one. But just to give you, so you have 2 stages of participation. One is called partnership, to be a partner. Now it's called beneficiary with a Horizon 2020. And the other one has been associate partner, which is now called partner. Now, beneficiary gets direct, the main difference is in money. Beneficiary get the money directly. So they sign an agreement with the European Commission and with the other consortium partner. They get money directly into the bank account. Partners do not get money. But partners can invoice beneficiaries for events. If you do not sign an association, no, actually you can have, in principle, it would be, if you sign an association agreement, it becomes very, very difficult, much easier to become direct beneficiary. Even if this is not the golden rule, I mean, I know that there are some beneficiaries in countries that have no association agreement. The problem is that an association agreement is also a guarantee for the European Commission. A guarantee that the partner will not just take the money and run. I mean, we have the case of, I heard of a case, I mean, that's an urban legend, but I think it was told by a colleague, a Pakistani professor who applied for a grant, he won the grant, and then he was coming to Ireland. And before coming to Ireland, he said, yeah, but you know, it's expensive to buy things, and so can you give me an advance? And the grant was was relatively big, it was kind of 100,000. He said, can you give me an advance of 10,000? And I said, of course, I mean, this person is coming. So he got the money, he got the first 10,000, and then he disappeared. And it's like, okay, I mean, it was very, very logical to do because now he's blacklisted and so on. Maybe he will never leave Pakistan, he will never come to the European Union anymore. No, because it was a professor. I mean, I don't really know.
Because there's no logic.
No, there is a logic. I'm building a house, I need a room, I need 10,000 euros. And I convinced the people that, I mean, there was also another thing that happened. I think there was, again, I think there was a number of organizations in a certain country that I will not mention, that applied for EBS, I mean, for a volunteer service, which is not much. I mean, they were getting they were getting in the end like 5,000-6,000 euros. But they got like 10, 15 of those projects. And then they got the advance payment. As soon as they got the advance payment, they disappeared. So you have those things. And the thing is, if this happens with the EU organization, it's much easier to go through national courts, much easier to go. If this happens somewhere in Tuvalu, can you imagine the European Commission traveling to Tuvalu and saying, well, actually, you owe us 10,000 euros. So this is why being associated, having an association agreement is not just about having direct access to, being able to apply, but also it's a kind of guarantee that Georgia is guaranteed that whatever happens, they will be more or less responsible. There's no written rule on this.
It's like a bank.
Yeah. It's like endorsing, the country is endorsing the thing that, so if there's an issue, it's very likely that the European Union is going to go to the Ministry of Education, is going to go to, and going to say, well, we have a problem with this university. Whereas, if there is no agreement, the European Union goes to the ministry, and the ministry say, ha ha ha. That's basically what we're doing with that.
May I have a question?
Yes.
Are your grants institutional or individual?
Can you, I think it was a recording.
Are grants which Horizon is giving away institutional or individual?
They are both.
Okay.
But there is a...
Describe.
Sorry?
The situation you describe is advance taking and just going away and doing whatever they want to do with the money. It's kind of impossible if your grants are institutional and the university is responsible for anything which is funded. Right? Even if people want to use or abuse funds in any way they want, the university will not allow that most of the time. But at least in the States, that's how it's organized.
Well, that's the States. But think of a country like India or a country like China, where you have 1 billion universities. And you cannot check every single university. And the university is there, and then the university bankrupts immediately after receiving the grant.
For $10,000, they will do.
No, if it's a university, it will be more. But anyway, you never know. And in principle, is even if it's even if it's a little money, there is all. So the thing is just that to diminish the risk as much as possible. So there are some, and the case of the Pakistani was not with the EU grant. It was, I think, it was an Irish grant. Anyway, what I was, the meat of the story is simply that the association agreement is also a guarantee with the European. The European Commission is going to be much more open with this thing. I mean, if you don't have to justify why George is there anymore. Whereas if you are not, then you have to say, no, but George is very important for this project because of this, we need to pay money directly to them because of this. You can do this. But once you are an associate, once you have an associate partner, then it becomes much more logical. It's you are among the elites, the one that can get funding directly, and there is no question. So, to participate as, I mean, you have to be a EU member state, or you have to be an associate country. You have to be also a non-associated country. So you can also, I mean, to say Burma, Cameroon are still eligible. If you explain that this is the only place where you can do those things, you can do it. But honestly, by experience, I've never involved any non-associate partner in a place where I had to send them money. And this is not just, as you say, because of the European Commission, but it's also because you, as a leader of the consortium, you receive all the money, and then you allocate the money to the universities here and there. And then, if the university do not deliver, actually, the European Commission has the right to say, okay, to break the contract. So it's not about just taking money and running, but it's like you have promised to deliver a workshop. You've taken the money and you're not organizing the workshop. And then it's like, then you have to start. What are you going to do? Are you going to start? And it becomes much easier once there is some kind of institutional agreement to kind of to lobby, to put pressure on the partner, than if there is nothing. So that's the main thing. Now, I assume that all the organizations are eligible, but there is. I just wanted to show you the distinction between. Between the academic and the non-academic sector, because this is something that is becoming more and more important. Now, the academic sector is considered either, I mean, a public or private higher education institution that either awards academic degrees or does research. But research should be the main activity of the institute. So if they do research at 20%, that is not considered academic. If research is kind of overwhelmingly the main activity, even if you do not do teaching, then it's considered academic. Non-academic sector are all the others. Now, they include research organization, they also do like consultancy, they do policy advice, they do whatever other thing. Companies, private companies, NGOs, including think tanks, I mean, people that are not doing, but are also, I mean, they're not just researching, but doing. Now, the status of the organization is defined by a number of formal rules. SME, small and medium enterprises, they're also very welcome. And once you, I mean, if you participate into even in a EU bid, you have to apply for PIC. PIC is Participant Identification Code, which is unique to your legal entity. Which means if you are a university, even if you have 15,000 departments, you only have one PIC. And then you have a subunit. So legally, the PIC is associated with one university, one person. What used to be I don't know what's the name now, so it used to be